Hey, Willy, how you doing?
I'm okay.
Yeah? Why just okay?
It's the normal day-to-day routine, the ups and the downs and the sleeping and all the things.
Well, have I got some good news for you? Maybe this put a little pep in your step, perk you right up, ping those nipples right through your shirt. Have you seen the latest COVID numbers?
Not recently.
Well, guess what, my friend? They are going down.
Yeah?
I think that means things are getting better. Things are going to start opening up soon. We're going to be able to go watch AMC movie theaters, in person, instead of just trying to bet on them on the internet. This is all
sounds like
good
they
stuff.
got some money out of the deal, so sure, yeah.
Right. They're not going to shut down. This is all good news. I think we should check in, because these numbers are so good, with where we are on the vaccine list. Let's check our position. We haven't done this in a couple months, so let's revisit here. If I'm not mistaken, the old people were supposed to get it first, right? Senior citizens over the age of 65, healthcare workers,
frontline essentials. Yep.
Yeah, teachers. Do you think have they gotten all of theirs yet?
I would hope they probably have had access to them, right?
Let's hope they're almost done.
Okay.
So who's next here on the list? You pull up that website right there.
Yep.
I just sent you that. Pull up that website, and after all the essential workers like grocery store people and people that take care of kids and anybody who's immunocompromised, who's next on the list?
It says here that the cast of Cirque du Soleil gets it next.
What?
I guess.
Oh,
it's the CDC.gov, Scott.
Okay, all right. I find that a little hard to believe, but then again, the last time we talked about this, we discussed entertainment, and people have been really depressed. So I guess that makes sense. Okay. After the cast of Cirque du Soleil, who's next?
On here, it specifies this, which is weird, but it says Tom Brady, followed exclusively by was he on Tampa Bay?
Yes.
So followed by his team. So Tom Brady first, and then Tampa Bay.
All right.
I mean, it kind of feels like their season is done, but
they did win the Super Bowl. Maybe that was in the contract.
Sure. It's a gift.
It was just included. Like, here's your Vince Lombardi trophy. They can throw that around on all those party boats, and while you're at it, here's a free vaccine. Okay. Once again, entertainment category. I'm not going to be too mad because we as Americans like to be entertained. It's what we want. It's what we crave. Mm-hmm. But
there's a few others on this list. Oh? Some other entertainers. I'm really at this point, I'm trying to search to find where we show up on this list.
Who's after the entertainers? Is there anybody after the entertainers?
Right here at the bottom.
Oh, what's that look?
It says the cast of all of Nickelodeon's All That.
I can't say I'm familiar, but who's in that cast?
Like Kenan Thompson.
National Treasure. You know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay. Kenan,
hey,
God bless.
The cast of National Treasure is next. That was awesome.
Okay.
I found us. We're a little bit further down. It did National Treasure, put Nicolas Cage at the bottom, and then there we are. Surprisingly, there's only one audience lower than us.
Oh.
And that's the San Francisco 49ers.
Welcome to the front podcast of the internet. I'm your co-host, Scott Gurrola, and with me, always freezing his nipples off, is...
Willy Mattson. Can you see them in this shirt?
Dude, if they were any sharper, they would cut through my screen.
I'm wearing two shirts. It is really cold outside.
It is absolutely... I am chilled to the bone. I have several blankets on me. I have a space heater going on in the background, which I hope the audio doesn't pick up. I've decided to go to earmuff-based headphones in addition to my toque. as the Canadian brethren would say it. But your
partner's just laying across your lap
That's
the whole
right.
time. Just been silent the whole time.
I don't even have a fireplace. I just started a fire in my basement here.
I'm happy we are talking about the weather because talking about the weather is like the worst opening conversation if you wanted to just have a conversation with somebody and you show up to a friend's house and like you and I are mutual friends, but we are mutual acquaintances. We don't really know each other, but we have that person in between us, and then that person in between us is like, guys, get to know each other. I'm gonna go take a shit. I'll be back in 45 minutes.
It's also the quickest way for somebody to swipe. What's the bad way on Tinder? I haven't been on there in a while. Swipe right?
Right.
Swipe left? Okay, yeah, so if you just say, like, I like to talk about the weather in your bio, I'm sure you're getting 0.0 likes.
It's with fish. It's with car photos. It's with you on a boat. Anything that screams misogyny, the weather is the thing that you don't want to talk about. But I want to bring a little bit of humor into this. With people that have partners, it's kind of like your ride and die. Would you say that, Scott? When you get in a relationship,
just not too fast, not too furious. Yeah.
So I sent you a link, and this is from the subreddit Better Every Loop, and it says, "Watch the second person walk right in after seeing the danger."
Oh, ow, oh. Misery certainly loves company. Oh, where did this happen? Because this poor person just walked right out their door, and they have a porch, a covered porch, and they take the first step to go down what appears to be about 6 or 7 stairs, and they go ass over tea kettle and ride the stairs all the way down. Now, somebody's coming out the door behind them, and in what I'm sure is an attempt to help, follows and does the same exact thing and lands on top of the other person.
My favorite part...
insult to injury.
My favorite part of the second person is watch that foot go.
That is the exact way I imagined it. There's so much pain in that video, Willy. Like bruised body parts, bruised egos.
Have you fallen down steps before?
Exactly like that. Icy steps, carpeted steps, hardwood steps. Like there's no part of you that isn't both A, embarrassed, and B, wishing like you could just turn back time.
So I grew up in a suburban, urban neighborhood. I would say a full suburban.
Urban is in the name, suburban.
Right, but I think when somebody screams suburban, they think like sprawling streets, roundabouts, curvature, getting lost in the McMansions. That's what I think of suburbs. When I say suburban, urban, I mean like that tier just outside of a main city. So I grew up in just outside of St. Paul, like the city proper. So it's all rectilinear. You get what I'm trying to say. Anyways, not the point of the story.
Don't need to be so anal about it. Yeah.
So I would go over to friends' houses in the winter, and we grew up in Minnesota, where seeing ice like this, you just prepare your asshole because this is a normal thing. I remember multiple times, Scott, getting stuck, genuinely stuck at the bottom of one of my friend's driveways because she lived in a really big house at the top of a really big driveway in like the Sunfish Lake area, the really expensive area in Mendota Heights.
Joe Mauer lives out there.
I couldn't get up the thing. I was like, you got to come out and get your car. I can't get my car. You got to get me up. So I know this feeling, and it's debilitating.
With everything that's been going on this week in the subarctic United States, I've seen several videos like this where somebody just goes whoop, and then somebody else looks to come and help them, which is great. That's what you want to see, but they just go right along with them.
You said the subarctic United States. Mm-hmm. As we're recording this, what is it? 2 million people in Texas are without power. They've seen tons of pileups, and all of this information is coming at us so fast. Reddit can't even keep up with the amount of information that's coming. They are currently seeing 10-degree temperatures. You said, as we were prepping for this show, snow on the top of palm trees.
6 inches of snow. 6 inches. in a place where it never snows.
That's like this big. It's a penis reference for those video viewers. But I remember growing up and hearing about snowfall in one of the southern states or like a little bit in Florida, and people would shut everything down, everything closed. And I just thought to myself, why would that happen? I deal with 100-degree weather in the summer and I deal with negative 20-degree weather in the winter. This isn't a big deal. Why are you guys making a big deal out of this? Did you used to ask yourself the same question?
When I was younger, I always thought it was silly because I figured just because you don't have the same weather there all the time doesn't mean you shouldn't necessarily prepare for it. It's not like it's never happened, but budgets, you learn about those as you grow up, and these states put their money into a budget that doesn't include a fleet of trucks meant to salt and sand the roads like we have here up in the Great White North. And once you understand like the infrastructure, it makes a little bit more sense. However, we are not unfamiliar with people I'll just call idiots forgetting that it snows and it rains ice here every single GD year.
Like that couple we just saw.
Exactly. And that's why we still get pileups and crazy bad accidents, even in a state where it is happening on the regular. Speaking of places that aren't properly taking care of their country or where people live, this week in r/public freakout, I have a little video here, Willie, that I'm going to send you so you can take a look at, and we will continue our podcast where we describe things that are happening in videos and pictures.
Oh, I saw this video.
Yeah, so this has been happening a couple weeks, and we've a couple weeks back, and we've kind of been wondering on how to bring it up as we are both very uneducated when it comes to global politics. But if you haven't heard, in the country of Myanmar, they staged a coup. Not too unlike ours. They were just very successful. Too successful, because a couple weeks back, it was on the front page of Reddit, this aerobics instructor was kind of like doing a dance and like playing their music video or their music in the video and teaching socially distanced aerobics for people watching at home. And in the background was what appeared to be the highway or roads that led up to the governmental palace.
Capitol building, I think
this is how much
Parliament.
we do not know about what's going on. But large armored vehicles and all painted in black and with what appeared to be guns on top just started streaming in behind this person as they were doing their video. This person had no idea what was going on. They just kept going, wasn't paying attention at all. But it was just the weirdest contrast. And now, this week, there's been more remarkable scenes in Myanmar where police openly join protesters as they are being shot with a water cannon. Willie, can you describe what's going on in this video for our listeners at home?
Yeah, absolutely. So it starts with an all too familiar video that we have seen countless times this year in the United States, with a large group of protesters on the left side and a cacophony of military geared police officers with riot shields, helmets, a big military type vehicle with water cannons, and they're spraying it within 6 feet of this crowd, full blast. And they have tarps up that they're trying to hold it. Well, quickly into the video, it's a 2-minute long video. You see 2 officers walk out of the crowd and stand, or out of the crowd of police officers and go and stand with the crowd in protest with them. The crowd begins to cheer. Everybody gets excited. Some police officers try to go in and grab them, and the crowd embraces them as if they knew exactly why they made that choice, which, for those of you who don't know, Myanmar, formerly Burma, is northeast of Thailand, tucked between Thailand and I think it's Bangladesh, Southeast Asian country.
Yeah, I think they were held hostage initially. That's what we heard, and I haven't heard any follow-up.
It's amazing to me how, and I know this is a big, broad statement, but a site like Reddit allows for some pretty remarkable things. It allows us to see something like this and immediately know and feel it. While something like when our parents grew up in the 50s and 60s, you didn't have access to something like this, or if you did, it was tailored and thought out, and
or like a short clip in a newspaper that you saw maybe a couple days later because of the speed of the printing press and people getting stories to your local newspaper from the national news.
And regardless of how you feel, anytime something like that is published, there is likely a spin. There is likely a point made, an opinion put onto that piece. And that starts to dictate the way an audience or a social group feels about another event happening, right?
Yeah, I've seen several videos of similar events to, like you said, what we saw last summer, of people saying like, we are being attacked by the police, send help, pass this around. And the thing I feel right away is helplessness, because what do you do in that situation? How can you, as somebody who is sitting at home in whereversville, not Burma, not Myanmar, what can you do to help? And getting this information out to reporters is probably the best thing that most armchair quarterbacks, to use a phrase, can do, or donate to, whoever's trying to help in this situation, whether it's international lawyers, charity relief organizations, anybody who's trying to kind of help in that situation. But it just looks like something that isn't going away anytime soon, and we'll definitely keep up with more as we find out about it.
A lot of really negative things happen either close to home, like the things that are happening around Dallas, or far away. And for me, I think one of the most important things that I can do is be a part of the conversation. Listen, try to understand, even if I don't have the time and the space to be fully prepared and in the know on what's happening in Myanmar, at least I know that it's probably not good and I should do a little bit more research and be in that position to pay attention, so that when things come back, when history repeats itself, I'm in a position of understanding what it felt like in that moment, so that maybe history doesn't need to repeat itself in the same way.
Yeah, I agree. I like that.
Somebody who continues to repeat history, knowing full well that they probably shouldn't. One,
Ooh.
because, wow, it's it's tactless, and mainly because it's abhorrent, and she kind of deserved what was coming to her. It's a big word. Scott, look it up. Abhorrent.
I thought you said abhorrent.
That's for later, buddy. But what we're talking about is Gina Carano.
Oh, yes. We talked about this already this week, didn't we, Willy?
Yeah. So this week, Scott and I got to be guests on another podcast. We're going to link it down in the show notes. It's called Kev's Perspective. And I wanted to provide, if you are from that show and you're coming over to this show, welcome.
Welcome. Hi.
And if you're not, why don't you pop on over there? Kev did something interesting. He usually talks about music and that entire universe, but we wanted to bring our flair to his show, so we brought a little bit of that Reddit spice. During that episode, we talked about some recent news around Lucasfilms and Gina Carano from The Mandalorian. So the link that I have is from news. It says Lucasfilms calls Gina Carano's social media posts abhorrent. Actress no longer employed by the Mandalorian studio. What we discovered as we did a little bit more research is that some of what she said wasn't just
anti-Semitic.
Wasn't just a political message. It was anti-Semitic.
Oh.
Do you remember some of those things that she said?
Yeah, she was comparing the plight of modern day Republicans to that of World War II era Jewish people. Am I correct in that?
You are. When we first talked about this, we talked about it from a post from Gizmodo that provided plenty of links. I'll link it down in the show note. But
Man, that's a callback if I ever heard one. Gizmodo's still around?
Apparently. If you guys haven't caught on yet, Disney likes to build out their franchises. That's kind of their new MO. They're going to build out this series of content that is just huge. Well, one of their plans was that they wanted to build out The Mandalorian bigger than just that one-off series from Star Wars. So some of the characters that you're seeing are all getting their own shows, like Ahsoka, or in this case, Carano was going to get her own series called Rangers of the New Republic, which has now been tabled, likely to find new cast, new people, and figure out where the hell they want to go next. By the way, I saved this for posterity's sake. Fortunately, I'm not going to post it as an image on the podcast because I really don't want to get it taken down.
Probably a good idea.
And I'm not going to show it on the YouTube video because if it's getting taken down across Twitter, it's not worth showing, and I apologize. But her post from Instagram says, and I quote, "Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children." Sad face. Because history, it actually has that in there.
Wow.
Because history is edited. Most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views?
It's more than a stretch, right? It just doesn't feel like she put much thought into it besides what she wrote, and I feel that she's going to try and spin it as this is just more persecution of her because of her political beliefs and not because of everything that's underlying. Mm-hmm. And so she's just using that as a front.
And by the way, this isn't the only political commentary she's making.
Sure. Just to be clear, has her Twitter been taken down like anybody else's?
I don't believe so.
So it's still up. Okay.
It like many people that have social clout, you may have it like a post removed or tagged as fraudulent or misleading, but their accounts are going to stay up. If you and I posted something like that, Scott, they'd just cut ties, see you later, no loss to us. So here's the question that I have for you, Scott, and this is an opportunity for us to maybe open this up a little bit because I frankly don't know the answer, but she works for a business. We have the right to free speech, which in the Constitution, the right to free speech means as long as it can't be classified as like a hate speech or implicitly showing danger to another person or group of people, then it can be considered free speech, right?
Right.
Do you think that a business has to draw a line between the conversation that someone has, that's their own personal beliefs, even as wrong and hate-filled as it is? Where does that line get drawn? Should a business be in a position to say, well, the government can't do anything about this, but I sure as hell am?
If there is some sort of business or company involved that has their own core set of values, like a mission statement, something like that, they're allowed to make these rules, which you, while you may not necessarily agree with them, have contractually agreed to follow. And if you cross those lines or do something outside of the confines, you have broken that contract, and it has become null and void based on your actions. I think anybody can believe whatever they want. That's kind of what makes our country so great. It's what it's made it, what has caused people to say that we were the greatest country for the longest time. It's because we were allowed to believe and do things kind of in our own way. But we are also governed by laws that are meant to protect everybody and keep them safe from harm.
She is in a position where she is the face of a brand, where she is a representative of that specific IP, and Disney has every right to protect that, because this is the thing that's getting us our money. This is the thing that we're like, this is the reason we exist. This is our product. You are our product because you're an actor in this film. We have every right to cut ties with you if you are going to misrepresent us outside of just the film, because when you sign up to be an actor or actress, how you hold yourself says a lot.
My opinion is that she should have been fired. Like, that's just, she was fired with just cause, and she said some stupid stuff, and you just can't say that and expect to stay employed with a kids company like that.
I think she was fired for two just reasons. The first one is because I understand Disney's reason to distance themselves to protect their brand. And two, I guess I'm okay with people say, just like I have every choice to say, hey, that person over there that used to be my friend, they're a shitty person, so I don't want to be their friend anymore. They fucked up. I'm kind of done with it. Yeah. I have the right to make that choice. That's something you taught me long ago, Scott, that I don't like to give my time and energy to those people that are an anchor on my life. If you're not improving me, if you're not adding value to what I need, even if it's subconscious, right? If I don't say it out loud, but if it's that value in some way to me, I don't have any obligation to you to keep you there.
Yeah.
And a business who needs to be able to run their business, and I think also has every right to say, for unprotected reasons, I'm good.
Now, on the opposite side of the coin, there are plenty of people out there who are given a ton of leeway when it comes to free speech. And one of those just so happens to be a Twitter account that I'm sure many of you have either heard of by way of their brand or have possibly seen through Reddit.
OnlyFans.
Close. It does involve a redhead. This week,
my mother.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, did she get my subscription?
Fuck off. Go back to listen to the other episodes to hear Scott's weird fetish with my mother.
This week in r/murdered by words, whoever runs Wendy's Twitter account needs a raise. Are you familiar with this? Have you seen this?
Yes.
It is great.
I love it so much.
All right, so Wendy's, for some reason, has given the person who is running their Twitter account carte blanche to basically say whatever they want as long as there is no profanity. If you want something that's a trending topic, do whatever you want with it. Go nuts. The post was, "It's go time. You want the roast? Then let's go. Hashtag National Roast Day." The restaurant Hooters thought they would get involved, so they responded with, "What you got?" And Wendy's replied with, "Uniforms our employees can wear in the winter."
Ooh.
So yeah, we're not sponsored by Wendy's. I don't think I've had a Frosty or one of their chicken anythings in several years now because of my dietary condition.
But we are sponsored by Hooters. I'm just kidding. We're not sponsored by either of them.
I mean, Hooters really gives you wings, not Red Bull, if you think about it.
I mean, yeah, they do serve some wings. Is their food any good?
Just the wings. Just the wings.
Go to Hooters. Why?
Let's do a quick comparison of the people that go to Wendy's versus the people that go to Hooters. Are they the same? Does the Venn diagram, is it just one circle?
That's an interesting question. So we could say that if you go to Wendy's, you're going for what? What are the big items? You go for a Baconator. Ooh, Baconator.
You're basically trying to kill yourself as slowly as possible with delicious, salty food.
Right.
Fuck!
You're also probably going there because you want a Frosty. You want to dip your fries into the Frosty.
So
and
good.
Get it all
Only
over your
way
fingers
to-
and just nibble on your fingers. That's the
the
same as Hooters.
Yeah, it's the only way to eat those Frosties. Use that fry. Fuck a straw.
I'm sorry.
You probably can.
Use a fry. You probably. I can? Damn it, Scott.
Hashtag National Roast Day.
I somehow love that Wendy's subreddit or Wendy's Twitter account just goes off on people. I think it's so funny. Are they the first brand to really go out of their way to just pretend like they're some like 19-year-old kid tweeting from their phone?
Probably not. Like, there's plenty of extreme brands from the 90s that were able to get away with, like, light roasts, but I think this is the first branded account that I saw, and I was, like, taken aback. I'm like, whoa, they're letting these people do whatever they want. And, I mean, if you go back through the history, some of their posts are epic, just like this one. And it's not just in response to other brands. No, it's to other random Twitter users. It's kind of cool to see in a day where, like we just talked about, things are very censored. You've got to have a really good team to respond probably as quickly as they need to with the type of pop culture references. So, I mean, good for you, Wendy's. It doesn't make me want to buy your crappy salty food at all.
I mean, that's ultimately why they're doing this, right? Because at some point they're like, our sales are going down. People aren't thinking about us. We're not a part of the fabric of.
We're not in the conversation anymore.
So how do you get in the conversation? You fucking roast the shit out of people and make them feel bad. And other people like watching people feel bad, like us watching that couple fall down the stairs. I'm not going to go buy your goddamn stairs, but I'm sure as hell going to laugh at you for falling down them.
Do you have any other brands that you've liked that have done stuff like this in the past?
I think there's something really clever about all these advertising companies coming up with like weird slogans. Like, I don't know. A good example, KFC following the 11 herbs and spices. That's the only people they follow on Twitter. So it's 5 guys named Herb and the Spice Girls.
That's good. That's clever.
I've always thought, wouldn't it be nice if we were as clever as those brands? So I'm going to try, just off the cuff here, and I think you have some ideas too. How would we brand these companies? Because we're that clever. We can be that good. So here's one for you. Old Spice. There's nothing old about fucking your neighbor.
This is nice that you dragged that out. Okay, all right. I got one. Morton's Fish Sticks. Now not just for gay fish.
1-800-PRO-FLOWERS. When the first thing you think when you left work is, oh, I fucked up.
Oh, yeah. And IKEA. Our furniture looks as good in your home as it does on the curb.
Thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode of the podcast. If you want to get a hold of us outside of the show, we are everywhere. You can watch the show on YouTube. There's a sub for that. You can also follow us over on Instagram. Scott, where's that?
At sub for that. And if you want to slide into our personal DMs, we've got a couple Instagram accounts, couple Twitter accounts with our names. That's at Scott Gurrola and
WildMN293.
So thank you so much. We really do appreciate every single lurker who takes time out of their day to listen to a couple idiots.
Couple of
of the
guys
USA.
getting up to no good.
Now, before we start making more trouble in your neighborhood, just remember, no matter what you're into, whether it's pics of unusual birds,
Disc golf,
blender help,
or WTF stock photos.
there's a sub for that.